What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no other way to describe this. This is a huge win for the Chicago Bulls. A second night of a back-to-back, knowing that the Bulls were going to be extremely tired after their overtime performance. And at the end of the day, the Chicago Bulls delivered a great result in this game. And we'll talk a little bit about the Bulls and the Miami Heat in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls overall game today. Who was your player of the game? Your thoughts and opinions on how good the Bulls truly played. We won this game 113-99, and I've got to be honest, yes, it was a game of two halves. Yes, we almost saw the Chicago Bulls lose a 25-point lead in this game, blow it to the Miami Heat, and Miami were not too far away from winning this game. But again, it's the same situation I've been saying for a long time. I don't care if we win this game by 1 point or 50 points. I honestly couldn't care less if they brought it to a 1-point game and we blew the 25-point lead, but we end up winning in a buzzer beater scenario. I just feel like at every stage at this point, the performances, the improvement, for me, that goes right out the window. The win is the most important thing at the moment. If we want to be a play-in team, not only just a play-in team, if you want to have any sort of momentum heading into the play-in to get out of the play-in and into the playoffs, you have to try and win every single one of these games. The improvement, the performances are all fine and good. I love to see the Bulls play great. I thought they played very well last game, and to be honest, I thought for most of this game they played good as well. But outside of all of that, they got the win. I'd much rather play badly at this point in time and win a game than play amazingly well and lose a game. So yeah, it's coming to the point where the results mean more than the performances. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And the Bulls delivered a result here. They delivered a great performance and they delivered a win, which is very, very positive to see. Now, let's quickly talk about the game. The first half, I've got to be honest, we jumped on them very quickly and Miami looked like a team all out of sorts. I'm not really sure what their process is at the moment in terms of their NBA season. Again, I've heard some good things about Miami. I've heard some bad things about Miami. I just feel like they're in the middle of the pack, just like the Chicago Bulls. They're also fighting for a playoff spot, just like the Chicago Bulls. So again, I did expect a somewhat, I would call it an ugly game, but to be honest, that's not necessarily what we saw. The Bulls played a very good game in the first half. It looked like it was very well balanced. Things were going our way. We were scoring at will at times. Miami weren't making shots. Miami weren't really running great offense whatsoever. It felt like if Jimmy Butler wasn't doing anything, then Miami weren't doing anything. That's what it felt like. But again, third quarter came around and the Bulls kind of sank what was working for them once again. They just completely fell apart, and again, it's just another case of the Chicago Bulls not putting four quarters together. It's another case of the Chicago Bulls going away from what works from them. And Miami, with their strong defense, because they're still a very solid defensive team, and Jimmy Butler as well, who had, and Bam to be fair, both of those guys made huge impacts in this game and dictating how Miami played in the third quarter. They came back, and they came back relatively quickly. But our fourth quarter response was a very well needed one. And yeah, there was some really positive stuff to take away from this game. Obviously not all of it's positive, but again, the win is the most important thing. And the two games that we just played, the Minnesota Timberwolves and this Miami Heat game, winning them are huge, because our next two opponents are both Philadelphia, and those two games are extremely hard to win. So if you lose both of those games against Philadelphia, which to be honest, I somewhat expect the Bulls to do, because one, Joel Embiid has never lost to the Chicago Bulls, and two, they're on an 8-game win streak as we speak. So all the momentum's on Philadelphia's side right now. Yes, I'd love to get a win from them. I think we can win one of them, but I'm expecting a loss in both of those games. But at least in that department, you've picked up a back-to-back scenario, a double overtime game, then moving to Miami and winning that game. You picked up two games that if we didn't pick up, we're in a worse situation. Absolutely, it's not even close, because I think today as well, the Wizards lost and the Pacers lost today. So this win is massive for the Bulls, and knowing what we have next, if we can win them, great. I want to win them. Every win counts. But if you expect to lose them like I do, well, you picked up two games here that might be able to keep you alive in that play-in tournament race at this point in time. So we shall wait and see, but let's talk quickly about the individual performances, starting off with DeMar DeRozan. He had 24 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists with 3 steals on the night. Very, very solid stuff from DeMar DeRozan, if I do say so myself. What I liked about this performance, again, if you look at every stat that I'm going to be reading, it's extremely well balanced this time out for the Chicago Bulls, which you absolutely love to see. You want everybody getting involved, you want everybody participating in the game, you want everybody to make a difference in the game. And honestly, when I look down the score sheet, I look down the stats, and there are very few people that I could truly say didn't make a difference in this game. Even the guy that we're going to be talking about next in Alex Caruso, who only played 10 minutes of action today, had 5 points and 2 assists with 1 steal and 1 block. That's huge for Alex Caruso, but unfortunately, it looks like he suffered a foot injury. I'm hoping it's not serious. Again, you can never be too certain, especially with Alex Caruso. I know he's played a lot more games this season compared to last season, but he's had a lot of minor niggling injuries when it comes to his season for the Chicago Bulls so far. So yeah, it's extremely disappointing in that regards, but hopefully he could get better soon. Of course, we do miss him. We missed him in this game as well. And a little bit of that defense could have helped massively in terms of making sure Miami could not come back from that large deficit. But at the end of the day, a win is a win. Hopefully it's not serious. He'll be able to come back soon and see where we go from there. We just got to focus on that next game. Nikola Vucevic, 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists on the night with a block. I've got to be honest, Vucevic got cooked today by Bam Adebayo. There's no other way to say it. Isolation plays from Bam Adebayo. Very nice in the mid-range. His movement was on point. That was probably the best in terms of this season. I can't remember the second game that fondly, but I definitely remember the first. That might have been the best Bam Adebayo performance for the Miami Heat against the Chicago Bulls this season. Normally, you see those matchups with Vucevic and Bam Adebayo. They go in both ways. Bam is quicker, smaller, more agile, and more athletic. Vucevic is taller, weighs more physical, goes into the post, and can dominate you with his size and his ability from the post. A very, very skilled offensive player. And Vucevic uses that to his advantage. However, today, it looked like Bam just had his absolute way with Vucevic. And Vucevic, we didn't really go to him at all. It's not even the fact that Vucevic had a bad game necessarily. It's the fact that Miami did a great job, in my opinion, preventing the ball entering the post. As much as I believe we don't do it enough, I also believe Miami made a strong emphasis to make sure it's going to be as difficult as possible to get the ball to Vucevic in the post, which is exactly what happened. There were so many times where even when they were switching and Vucevic was on a guard, they were fronting, they were pushing Vucevic out of the way, and Vucevic tends to not be physical in that department, in all honesty. He's not willing to force his way into the post because he has other elements to his game. So from Vucevic's side of things, I'd like to see him be more aggressive in the post. I'd like to see him show his physicality a little bit more than he did in this game. But also for the Bulls side of things, there are certain games where you have to go to Vucevic, and I personally felt like this was one of them. But again, a win is a win. We'll move on from that one. Zach LaVine, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists with 1 block. A Zach LaVine performance where we didn't need to see him drop 35, 40 points in a game. A Zach LaVine performance where we didn't even need to see him drop over 20 in a game. And for the most part, the Bulls were comfortable. Yes, the third quarter was a bad quarter, but the Bulls were comfortable for most of this game. And it was an environment where so many balanced scoring was taking place for Zach, DeMar, Vooch, guys like Kobe we'll talk about. Again, Patrick Beverly, unbelievable. All these guys played massive impacts in the offensive style of our game. Zach didn't need to do everything. And again, there are certain games where Zach LaVine will have to drop 30. There are certain games where Zach LaVine can kind of take it easy on the scoring side and impact the game in other ways, which he did today. 7 assists for Zach LaVine. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He doesn't need to be a scorer every single game. He just has to make the impacts, the same impacts every single game. And that doesn't always reflect to the points on the board for him. So, very, very nice game from Zach LaVine. And Patrick Beverly, 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, I cannot believe the stretch that Patrick Beverly had in the second quarter. This man scored 14 straight points for the Chicago Bulls. 3-pointers, galloping into the paint like an absolute madman. And just everything in that nature. He scored 14 straight points for the Bulls. And I'm pretty sure in that run, Miami didn't score. So, I mean, unbelievable what we just saw from Patrick Beverly. I'm in shock. Look, I know Patrick Beverly's offense is going to be inconsistent. It's going to come some games, and some games it's not going to be there. I get that. Again, very similar to how I view Alex Caruso. But damn, that stretch was unbelievable. Fair play to Patrick Beverly. Again, someone that can always find a way to surprise you the way that I see Patrick Beverly. Even though we know what he can bring to the table, there are some games he's just going to be something you just totally don't expect. And that's how I view Patrick Beverly today. I understand a lot of people saying the guy averaged 37 in high school and stuff like that. He's not in high school anymore. He's not known as a prolific scorer in the NBA. But to see that eruption for points, it made me smile, man. I could not believe it. Again, I'm very, very happy with Patrick Beverly. The Pat Bev effect was in full effect today. Moving into the bench, Patrick Williams, 10 points and 3 rebounds with 1 steal and 2 blocks on the night. When it comes to Patrick Williams, before I actually go any further, there's something I did want to mention. The Bulls' second chance points and offensive rebounding, still a big problem. I did not want to let that one slip by. I know a lot of people would be thinking about that. Big problem for the Bulls. And again, it's a big reason why Miami came back. They were just getting more of that 50-50 ball on their side. And that's just very disappointing to see from the Bulls side of things, because we know it's a big problem and it's proving to be very difficult to address. Okay, moving to Patrick Williams. He had a good first half. He made a big shot in the second half. But that's really it for Patrick Williams from the way that I noticed him. A couple of missed dunks. The thing, if Patrick Williams made anywhere near the amount of dunks that he attempts, this guy would probably be asked to be in the dunk contest. That's how serious it is. He misses so many dunks, and a lot of them are trying to put people on posters, trying to meme them for the rest of their career. Those are the type of dunks that Patrick Williams goes for, and he misses so many of them. But again, if he made anywhere near the amount that he's taken, again, I can guarantee he would be asked to do the dunk contest. The guy is athletic as hell, and again, I wish he could knock them down a little bit more. Look, with more time and more confidence, the ability to knock them down will be there. I would recommend using 2 hands sometimes. The one-handed dunks don't seem to be working that often. But again, I'm not an NBA player. I'll leave that up to the professionals. I definitely never dunked a ball in my life either. Moving into the next one, Kobe White, 18 points, 1 rebound and 6 assists with 2 steals. Extremely happy with Kobe White's performance today. Potentially one of the contenders for the player of the game for me personally. Just unbelievable. What a great game from Kobe White. Very efficient scoring, good playmaking, great defense. Again, there was a play where he stopped the ball going to Jimmy Butler in the post, and this man took one hell of a bump, took one hell of a dive by Jimmy Butler obviously pushing him down, just to get a steal and stuff like that. It's the type of energy and the type of hard plays that Kobe White has to go through to get any recognition on the defensive end. In my opinion, he might not be the most talented defender. He's not. Alex Caruso, very talented defender, very hard-working defender. Patrick Beverly, very talented defender, very hard-working defender. Guys like Ayo as well, good defender. These are all great defenders on this team. They're easily our best defenders. But in my opinion, Kobe White has to work just as hard as them to even get somewhat the same recognition, because the reputation precedes him. Last season, wasn't a great defender. Even if he was working hard, just wasn't a great defender. Always got beat, always got bullied, everything in between. This season, look, I'm not sure what his stats are now, but at the beginning of the season, his stats on the defensive side were very, very good. And I think he's working a lot harder than some of the other guys who are gifted defensively just to get recognition that he is an okay defender. So he's proving his worth, in my opinion. I really believe it. And again, I can't ask for much more than what Kobe White delivered for this Bulls team today. So very, very happy. Ayo Dosunmu, 6 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal. Solid night from Ayo, I would say. We have seen better and we have seen worse, but definitely not a bad game from him. Andre Drummond, 2 points and 6 rebounds. Typical night from Andre Drummond as we speak. These 2-point performances are becoming a little bit too consistent for my liking. Again, I feel like the Bulls are starting to have a little bit of a problem finding their centers, but at the end of the day, he didn't play that many minutes, so that's all I'm going to say. Derek Jones got some minutes but didn't get a stat in this game. And that's it for the individual performances. Looking at my must improve, I'd probably pick Andre Drummond. But again, it's fine margins really. I don't think I even need to give a must improve in this scenario. So I'm not really going to speak too much about this situation and about Andre Drummond or about the Bulls and a must improve scenario. The player of the game for me, this is a hard one. I've got two in mind in all honesty. Look, DeMar had a great game, double-double performance. Yeah, you know what? I am going to pick DeMar. I was kind of contemplating three people actually. DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Beverly, and Kobe White. I think all of them should be in contention for the Player of the Game award. I mean, Patrick Beverly's surge is just, again, it's so good. It was great to see. DeMar DeRozan, double-double performance, amazing to see. With 10 assists as well. I love when DeMar DeRozan play makes. And Kobe White with an 18-6 night as well. And he played a lot of minutes to get that as well. So again, extremely fine margins. If you pick any one of these three, I honestly cannot blame you. All of them had great games. Shout out to every single one of them. But I will pick DeMar DeRozan just for the fact that he got a double-double and played very, very well today. That's all I'm going to say. Look, again, as I mentioned before, these two games for the Chicago Bulls are absolutely massive because at the end of the day, with the Chicago Bulls team, we've got a very tough game in the next time out, and that game is against the Philadelphia 76ers. Tobias Harris has been playing very well recently. James Harden has been playing superb basketball recently. Joel Embiid is in the MVP conversations recently. So again, that is not an easy game, and they've won 8 in a row. And they are in clear contention for I guess, competing in the top seeds of the playoffs. We're not on the level of Philadelphia this season. We're not. We just got to accept it. We might have been in a very similar category last season, even though they beat us every single time. We're not on the same level of them this season. They are just levels above where we are at the moment. But we got to find a way to beat them. We got to find a way. At least one of these times, I'd love to see us beat Philadelphia. I want that streak of Joel Embiid not losing to the Bulls. I want that over and done with. I don't want to see either Joel Embiid miss a game against the Bulls and we win. I just want to see us end that stupid narrative. I hate it so much. Look, I love Joel Embiid as a player. He's a very, very great player. There's no denying that. I just hate that reputation that someone can have over the Chicago Bulls team. There has to be pride there against the Philadelphia 76ers, and I hope this team can show it. But the Bulls are 5 games below 500 as we speak. So, again, we were on a downward spiral. I remember we were talking about a 5-game below 500 mark, and we're talking about how that's just not good enough for the Bulls. But we went a lot lower than that recently. So, again, just got to keep on fighting, figure it out, one game at a time, and I'll end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video, ladies and gentlemen. It will probably be a Bulls Weekly. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.